A couple of different things. If your students are slow with this, you could do the whole list together before asking them to go back and code those words. Or you could just do half of the list a day and finish the other half the next day. That way you're making sure you're getting to the connected text every day. We want to make sure we get to this every single day. So if you have to cut the list down for that repetition, it's okay. We don't want to push kids through lessons just to get them through the lessons. All right, so what we will do, as your students are working, you would want to walk around like I did, make sure that they're coding them correctly. So what we're going to do is read the words part by part, and remember, we then have to change the way we say the word to make it a real word. So let's go ahead and start at the first word in your list. What's the first part? Next part? Tal. Yeah, but I would mispronounce that, so that way when they get to spelling it, and that encourages them to flex the word as well. So we would say vital. What word? Vital. So let's do the next word. You have to say it correctly. Yep.
That's hard.
But these are strategies that your students can use when they spell. When they get to spelling those words, they're going to hear that in their head. Vital, vital. All right, next word. First part, gen. Next part, Last part, al. What word?
General.
General. Next word. First part, per. Next part, son. Next part, al. What word?
Personal.
Personal. Next word. First part, R. Next part, ride. Last part, val. What word?
Arrival.
Arrival. Was there a question about that
I was
one?
gonna say, if there's
Would it be, or, did you say that again? You did
Oh, riv.
Riv.
I see. Rival.
Oh, so you did V.
So
Yeah.
the V, the consonant can be lumped with the AL, or it can be separated from the AL. It all depends how you say the word. So,
because like vital up there, the T stayed with the AL.
yep, because we
say
it's
vi,
like open
open.
syllable. So
Okay.
because arrival, the ri is an open syllable, you would keep the VAL.
Can you write that one on the board, just so we're
Yep.
clear?
Okay. So when you see, good question, it's just your choice. When you see this pattern, vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel, okay, this pattern. When you see the VCV pattern, the first step you want to do is divide it after the vowel, which is what I did with general. Most of the time that will work, but as you can see with the word general, that didn't work, so I had to change the way I divide it. With the VCV pattern, if you have your students mark that, they need to know the first step they take is to divide after the vowel. With this pattern, VCCV, that's why I always ask, do we have double consonants? The first step we want to take is divide in between the consonants. So with arrival, I didn't mark that correctly. Okay, so you have a vowel and a consonant, consonant, vowel. So that's still rival. Yeah.
Right there. That's right.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to think about that for a second. Well, that's still not right though. That should be riv. Oh, I see. We've got it right here. V, C, V. So when we see that pattern, then we want to break it after that because we don't have double consonants. Okay, so if you had another consonant right here, you would break it after the V. So you'll have to, work through those with your students, and that's why it's okay to take this slowly. But they have to know this, and those are pieces that I add to the lesson.
It'd have to be right with the
What was your question? With
I don't-
general?
Yeah.
Okay, so general, when I modeled that one, at first I broke it after the E.
Yeah.
And that is one of those times when you can't break it. That's one of those times when this pattern doesn't work, but 67% of the time time this will work. It works more than it doesn't work, so we wanna make sure we switch that.
60% of the time it works all the time.
What's that?
So 60% of the time it works all the time.
And that might be.
I had a realistic.
Are there questions about arrival?
So, like you say, you know, arrival, and we know that doesn't sound right, so, because the first syllable has a schwa, arrival, so then do you re-split it with after the A to?
So that's a good question.
Arrival.
How we split syllables orally does not match how we split them on paper. So I agree with you, if I had to clap out arrival, I would not put the R with it, but when we do it on paper, we have to divide between those double consonants.
Okay, so.
Yeah, yep. And in letters, we kind of talked about that a little bit, but how we segment orally does not match how we do syllabication on paper. And that happens a lot. Like if you think about, if you guys think about consonant LE pattern, when we segment bottle, well, we segment orally after the O. But when we do that on paper, we have to break apart the double letter. So it happens a lot. When you segment orally, it's not going to match what you do on paper. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, you would go through that whole list, so let's go back. We'll start at arrival. We'll say that word part by part. First part, R. Next part, ri. Last part, val. What word?
Arrival.
Arrival. Next word, first part, glow. Next part, bow. What word? Global. Next word, first part, in. Next part, ter. Next part, now. What word?
Internal.
Internal. Next word, first part, e. Next part, ter. Next part, now. What word?
Eternal.
Eternal. Next word, first part, knock. Next part, turn. Last part, owl. What word?
Nocturnal.
Nocturnal.
Where did you divide that? Did you go after the N or?
After the N. And again, it's all about the kids being able to read the words, so do not get hung up on this. Like if it's, as long as they are reading it correctly and spelling it correctly, that's our goal. Sharon Walpole says on her website, it's not an exact science, and that's totally true. I would keep turn together as a unit. Okay, next word, first part, few. Next part, ner. Next part, owl. What word? Funeral. Next word, first part, I. Next part, dent. Next part, ick. Last part, owl. What word? Identical. So I would keep that TIC because it's tick. It's a closed syllable. So ick, I'm sorry, IC.
Okay.
Ick. It's
But
a
like,
closed syllable.
on paper, you would divide between the consonants, but when you say it, you might, so that's where I'm a little confused. Like, according to the B, C, C, V, we would divide between the N and the T.
Yep.
On paper.
The reason why we, okay, so you could, but the reason why we don't is that NT is a final blend. So we would keep that together. So don't forget about those final blends. Like S nocturnal. So RN, is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Or UR would be the vowel theme, and then the N. That's not considered a final blend because that's a vowel R. So I would think you could do it either way, but for me, when I was teaching students, they would see turn as a unit, so I want to encourage that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? What you may want to do, if you really want to make sure that you're right, you can always look these up on a dictionary and see how they're divided, but don't get too hung up on it. Again, think about our overall goal is that they can read and decode words quickly and spell them.
Right.
All right, so now that we have read through the words, I'd like you to read those for a minute to yourself, using a whisper voice.
Should they be reading them in pieces or the whole word at a time if they can?
Oh, a whole word at the time, because it's to build automaticity at the word level. Yep, so go ahead and read the words. right, stop